Am I the asshole for wanting a divorce after my husband lied to me about buying a transmission and used me in his lie? My husband and I have had a wishy-washy relationship since the beginning. Mostly because I told him I don't want to be in a relationship with a liar, and before we got married, I caught him in a lie and told him I would end our relationship if I ever caught him again. Fast forward 4 years, we are married and have 2 kids. He was a prior Marine and told me his car group buddy, that was a prior Marine, had just died from an apparent suicide and he had just been in the works with buying a transmission from him. He told me this long story about how this guy was in a relationship with this girl that used him, and when he died, he left a will that he had just written prior to his death, leaving everything to her. Before he passed, this guy and his chick were going to move and needed to store one of his cars at our house until he could come back for it. Since it was still there after his passing, the girl had asked the deceased guy's friends group where this car went. She contacted my husband and he told her that he was given the car in a trade with other car parts and that he had paid $6,500 for this transmission that was sitting in the dead guy's house. I was mad that he didn't get a receipt or anything before this guy passed, and it was strange how it all went down. Something just didn't sit right with me, but I couldn't put my finger on it at the moment. So for the next few weeks, my husband has been talking back and forth with the chick about the car and the transmission that he paid for and was trying to get it from her possession. It was hard since she had just moved from the area and was trying to sort though in a state 900 miles away. Since this guy was a big car guy, he had a house full of car parts that this girl had to sort though. My husband saw the transmission listed on FB because the girl told him that he needed to prove in some way that the car part was truly his or would try and sell it like the original guy did. My husband kept messaging her back and forth and was very adamant about getting this part for his car. He was looking on FB to see when she would be back in the area, that way if she went to the house, he would be able to meet her there and grab the transmission. We live about an hour from this guy's house, so coordination of when this chick could have been there becomes harder. He essentially tracked her whereabouts through posts she posted publicly on FB, and when she was in the area, he was going to go get the part. He told me that the car that was left behind on our property was going to be a car he fixed up for me to drive, although I really didn't care. The girl was asking about the car and had said that it was hers and she wanted it. Somewhere along the line, my husband had told me that he actually didn't pay the $6,500 for the transmission, but that's what it was worth, and he really only said $2,000+. This didn't change my anger towards the fact he never got a receipt from this guy, and the whole situation would have been gone over quickly if not for this. Fast forward again, and the girl is on her way to being in town. I told him to just trade the stupid car for that transmission and just be done with it. It had been dragging on so long, and I'm leaving out much detail of his back and forth to save my fingers the write-up. She was okay with the deal. He loaded up the car and went and scooped up the transmission. I was home and happy this whole ordeal was finally over and I didn't have to hear about it anymore, about how terrible this chick was to this dude. After he gets home from getting this transmission, I'm outside loading my son in the car to take him to Grandpa's house for the day. As I'm standing there saying my goodbyes to him, he leans over and whispers in my ear, "I never actually paid for that transmission. I just wanted you to think that I did, so when we went to confront this girl you didn't hesitate in backing me up." Smiled at me as he pulled his hug away like, "Isn't that great? We screwed this chick over." The wheels in my brain started spinning out of control as I sat in the car. I smiled, kissed him and drove out the driveway. All the info about this car part and the details started overwhelming me while I was driving. By the time I got to Grandpa's house, which is about 15 away, I was shaking so bad it was hard to fake a smile to his family. I dropped my son off and called my husband to make more clear about this whole car part story before I completely just lost it. He involved me so deeply into his lie and used me as pawn to get a free transmission from his dead car buddy who just committed suicide over this chick, and you want me to lie to her face for the sake of your own gain? I think I cried and screamed so much, because he crossed a major boundary in an unrepairable way. I don't know how to look at him the same since we have other things that are troubling besides this situation. How can I be with someone that bluntly lied to my face for months over this personal gain, all for what? To top it off, he could have afforded to just pay the price she was asking and he'd done with it all from the beginning. I told him the depths that he lied to me was on the level of a serial killer. I no longer want to be in my marriage, because it just feels like everything he says now is a straight-up lie, especially, "I love you." Am I the asshole for wanting a divorce because my husband lied to me over a car part, amongst other things? If you like this video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for your support.